Welcome back to the top six. It's Monday. It's 6 p.m. Hit the like button. Strap yourselves in for the next couple of hours. Loads to talk about with the return of football, the return of Saka, Spurs in a financial mess. Chelsea have made a shocking decision that we're going to talk about today. And I'm talking shocking. That's me titling the video based on the reaction I've seen from Chelsea fans. We're going to get the panel's view on that as well. We're asking a big question relating to Marcus Rashford. Is he back? As the media keeps telling us. What does that even mean? He's back. We will find out. Got a brilliant panel for you with Nobbins is back with us again, which is nice. Man like Will is here. Henry talks football. We've got Doobs back on the show. We've got Kunle and finally back on a show. He stopped crying. It's taken a few weeks, but he's now stopped crying. And Tom Little, a.k.a. the Trent Rat Muncher, is here to talk a little bit of football. But Tom, have you now got over being rejected by a born and bred Scouser? Because you were very, very angry on socials a week or so ago. Have you calmed down? Have you apologized for the nasty things you said about your greatest ever academy graduate?
I never said anything about Stevie G. I'm fine, mate. I got Conor Bradley. Who cares? Gerald Quant's is a better right back anyway.
If you had led with that, maybe we'd buy this story. If you'd led with that, Tom, we'd maybe buy it.
Well, Conor Bradley can defend, to be fair. So,
hey, don't give him that. Don't help him
all
out.
I'll say
He's
is
on his own.
we played Real Madrid how many times in the last however many years, and the only time we beat them was when Trent went at right back.
Then why the
good riddance, right? Good riddance.
Why the anger? The anger is.
Yeah, be happy. You're letting dead weight go.
No. So you can be angry at a person if they're not regardless of their contributions.
That's
I just
not
think he's
true.
been
That's
deceitful
not
to
true,
the football
Tom.
club.
Terry, he said he thinks more fondly about what's his name, the right back.
Bradley and Kwanzaa.
Nah, Glenn Johnson. That's what you said. I think Glenn Johnson. You think more than Trent. That's what you said, Tom.
The way I look at this, Tom, is this in life. And I know that the only girlfriend you've had, me and KJ and the boys in Germany, did think she was imaginary. Just because you were there with us 3 weeks and you didn't text or phone her once. We thought that was a little strange. But let's just pretend she's real for the cameras, right? The cameras, no one heard me say that. If your girl leaves you, so if tomorrow you get the Dear John letter, she breaks up with you, but you've got another one or two on the go that you like more, fancy more, you find more attractive, have more in common with. No man would ever be upset by the one he sees least favorably leaving. You wouldn't call her names first, pejoratives, attack her, lie about her, and then afterwards go, but the other two I'm talking to are much nicer. You probably wouldn't say that. You would probably lead with, do you ever remember the scene in the In-Betweeners movie? Do you remember the scene in the In-Betweeners movie where Simon, his girlfriend, who's meant to marry, says, I'm leaving you for your best friend. And he goes, yes! And he slams it down. That's your reaction if Conor Bradley's better. Instead, it was venom. Venom came out of you. But I'm glad you're over it.
Oh, yeah. I just can't wait for him to play Anfield. That'll be a fun one.
I bet he scores, mate.
Can you imagine? I bet he defends well as well. I bet he turns up and defends like he's Gary Neville on the night and kills it.
Yeah, Tom, you just got to be happy when people move on to better things, bro. That's it.
No.
Locks up Luis Diaz on that left-hand side.
Oh, that's not impressive. Fucking hell. I could do that.
You're hoping he's not still there, mate.
Yeah. I think it's copium from the little lad. Yeah, he is coping hard. He's coping hard. Liverpool fans have been all week. And there's rumours, by the way, that Jurgen Klopp could also be joining Real Madrid.
That would be a fantastic
I fucking hate that football club.
That would
fucking hate Real Madrid.
Can I ask you a question,
if you want hatred,
Tom?
I hate Real Madrid.
Tom, if Klopp comes out of retirement because he retired because he become impotent and he had no energy, if he comes out, if he gets the mojo back for Real Madrid because Trent and Jude are there, oh mate, I can't wait to see you cry, bro.
Klopp retire though.
That changes legacy.
Yeah, but the narrative.
break, didn't he?
But the narrative
break to recharge.
Yeah, I know, but the way it was spun, the whole like, oh, he'll never manage another big club. Look, he's gone upstairs. He doesn't want to be a manager.
He said it himself in that bloody documentary that we released.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. So imagine he comes out of this retirement. Imagine, the blood starts to work. The blood starts rushing properly again. And it's Real Madrid he goes for after divorcing Liverpool. Mate, I think the meltdown would be, you'd be seeing people go, oh, Brendan Rodgers was better. We were better. Brendan Rodgers was better. Slot's better. I can't wait, bruv. It's going to be a king.
Hudson never done that. Hudson never done
that. Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of situations, some news came out today. By the way, hit the like button, people. Get that done for us right now. Some news came out today that Spurs have made millions and millions in losses. And Daniel Levy has come out and said, I often read calls for us to spend more, given that we are ranked as the 9th richest club in the world, which means he's on social media because that's who asks for it. The newspapers never challenged Tottenham. However, a closer examination of today's financial figures reveal, hang on, it sounds like he has just seen them today. Like he doesn't know what they were going to say before they were publicly released. Reveal that such spending must be sustainable in the long term, and within our operating revenues, our capacity to generate recurring revenue determines our spending power. We cannot spend what we don't have, and we will not compromise the financial stability of the club. Now, me reading that, it reads as we ain't spending much money. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Maybe I'm being disrespectful. But how do you see that today, Henry, as a Spurs fan? Is that a good message ahead of the summer?
It's not a good message. Let's be honest. There's a revenue loss of 4% since last season, and it's probably going to be even bigger next season without any European football. He come out as well. I think that quote you just brought up was from Friday. Because he also said a number of things like if we win the Europa League, I don't know why he mentioned silverware because he doesn't care, but he mentioned a lot of things. But that doesn't give me any hope. And now the narrative within the club is that Xavi is the one that they want to bring in if it all goes wrong. I don't really know what to make of this. I mean, I've been sitting here banging this drum about this manager, banging this drum about the ownership. He come out and said we've spent £700 million since 2019, which it is a lot of money, and I don't have a problem with us actually spending money, but we haven't spent it on anything good. Like he did when it comes to financial side of things, when it comes to the Kendrick Lamar deals, the F1 deals, there you go, look at the numbers. But I don't hear anyone criticizing Levy and Tottenham for the amount of money we spend. All I hear is people slating Arteta. Like the amount of money we have spent is absolutely ridiculous when you look at the quality of squad we have got. It is pathetic. And now you see Romero being linked with Atletico Madrid, Simeone. Van de Ven's apparently Bayern Munich, there's sniffing round. Their centre-back problems. And you look around and you just think, we've just pinned Son down to another 2-year deal whose legs have completely gone. Like, yes, he's a good finisher still, but there's so many things at this club. And then when you see, if he come out and said, like, I'm prepared to, spend to get Tottenham back to where we quote unquote want to be, it's nothing. It's just defending his mistakes all the time. We've just got to come to the realization that we are shit, and that has been like that since 2001. We are
years ago.
Is that as a club or just as a playing squad? Sorry,
sorry.
Is that as a club? Sorry, or it was like a playing squad?
Well, since Daniel Levy come in, I would say that we are absolutely crap. I'll tell you something.
Can somebody get that put onto a Hallmark card, please? A picture of Henry and Daniel Levy just saying, I've come to the conclusion that we are shit. That is like generational quotation there, bro. Just I like that.
We are
T-shirt it.
Genuinely, we're so bad when it comes to selling players. Think back to when we sold Gareth Bale. What did we go and buy? A load of dross. We sold Harry Kane and we tried to replace him with Richarlison.
Henry, I won't lie to you. If you can get a large portion of the Spurs fan base on that same wavelength of you are crap, the only way is up from there, bro. Guaranteed.
Like we did the protest, didn't we? We had 2,000, I think it was 2,400 people there. We protested, and then what does everyone do? Goes in the stadium, is buying all the alcohol, buying all the snacks, buying the merchandise from the shop. So what are we really, what is happening here? And then online, you say anything that's negative against this board or against this ownership, you're not a Spurs fan. You're glazing for rivals. It's fucking embarrassing. The state of the squad. Pedro Porro is probably going to get a move in the next year and a half. Your doggy's probably going to go back to Italy. And I'm looking round, going, Bergvall and Archie Gray must be thinking, we're goal difference off of 16th. And then you got the manager who comes out and says, I always win things in my second season. When we get knocked out of Frankfurt, he's going to go, yeah, but I've never had to deal with an injury crisis like this before, And then he'll probably get a job back in Scotland. He'll probably take over Celtic or someone, or get a job.
Yeah. You'll do it, man. Just for
sorry,
you'll take Brendan Rodgers off Celtic. That's what you'll do.
No, what I think we'll do is we'll go and give whoever the next manager is, whether it's Iriola from Bournemouth or whether it's Thomas Strank. We've spoken to him, or whether it's Xavi. We're going to go give them a stupid salary we always do.
I've heard rumors about Inzaghi at Inter. Just read on Twitter. I haven't delved into the stories. I've seen a lot of the big aggregators saying that he's a big target. I think I saw George, as in Al George, Durag Diary George, quote tweet saying, "Bring me Inzaghi."
Let's be real.
You see that happening?
Wow.
Let's just be real. Inzaghi's doing £5 million a year, right? Tottenham could quadruple his wage, but why would he leave Inter Milan, who have got Lautaro Martinez, Bastoni? Their team is very, very good. They're pretty much guaranteed to be in the top 3 of Italy for the next 5 years with the squad they've got.
New challenge, Henry. New challenge. Premier League.
And you just said that you guys would quadruple his wages. I mean, I feel like that's why he probably leaves.
Money talks, bro.
You quadruple his wages and then pay
Living
him
in
off
London
after 2 years.
Yeah, and then
he's into that.
He basically gets paid 3 times as much money to take a little break from football. It's amazing business for him.
I don't know if you saw the financial expert on Rio Ferdinand's podcast, and they was asking about who's the best run club in the country, and he said Tottenham are from a financial standpoint. And at the end of it, he said, you know what? Another reason why is because they don't have to pay winning bonuses because they don't win anything.
Sensational.
When you've got, he didn't even mean it as a dig. He just sat there, straight face.
Was that Kieran Maguire?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good.
Yeah, he was talking about our profit to
Nobbins. Can I ask Nobbins a question here? No, do you think Spurs' squad needs as big an overhaul as many think, or is it more Big Ange is just doing a terrible, terrible job? Because if he's doing a bad job and the squad is terrible and an overhaul is needed, they've got to be really careful with the kind of manager they go for, because they do aim for a Xavi or an Inzaghi. And at the same time, they're saying there's not a lot of money to spend. That just feels like another sort of Conte disaster waiting to happen. Or I could be misreading that again.
I think it totally depends on what is, because you say overhaul the squad, but then my follow up to that would be to what goal, to what end. This is what I've never quite understood with
get in the Champions League. That's the goal.
That's the goal? Okay, so to get top 5 football, basically.
Yeah,
based on this season, sometimes top 4. The squads in terms of the individuals then is not of the caliber to do that this season.
Probably need 4 signings.
Yeah, because you're obviously not better than nowhere near Liverpool, Arsenal. City are having a terrible season, and yet we're still quite a bit high up. I'm even looking at like Forest, clubs like Bournemouth, Brighton, etc. These clubs are illustrating ambition of late. Newcastle, obviously. I think when that Newcastle takeover happened, I theorise, I think a lot of people did, to be fair, that if there was going to be a new top 6, if any club was going to fall out, the natural candidate for that was Spurs, in terms of, finishing in the top 6 places. It's a very competitive league right now. Now is not the time to be frugal. Now is not the time to be cautious. You need to match. I'm not saying that you can do it, pound for pound with the likes of City and Newcastle. I'm not suggesting that, but you've got to live in the modern reality that there are very ambitious clubs who want to be more than what they were. Forest were in the Championship a few years ago. They might get Champions League football. This is what, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be looking at clubs like that and be like, well, why can't we do that? We should be that. We were that.
Look at Villa. Villa in a FA Cup semi-final, a Champions League quarter-final, and they were in the Championship 6 years ago. We were in the Champions League final. Villa, I don't even know if they're in the Premier League. What we've fallen from the Champions League final, I know it's a long time, 6 years in football, but look, we're right now, I mean, if Tottenham were to finish, I mean, if Wolves win 2 games and results go against us, bearing in mind we still got to play Forest, Chelsea away. We haven't won there in donkey's years. Liverpool. We still got tough games.
Sorry, Villa in 2019 were not in the Premier League.
That's what, exactly. They've brought in.
You played in the Champions League final, they won the playoffs to go up.
Yeah, and look, they've brought in Unai Emery, a very, very good coach. They've bought well, right? They've scouted well. They've developed their players up Ramsey well. And now you look at where Villa, even Bournemouth, like Semenyo, Dean Huijsen, Kluivert, Kirkes, all Bournemouth players are so clear of anything we've got.
Now you're looking at them that way, but last season you weren't looking at them that way. But
no,
the question I had for you, I'd love to see the streams where you were saying this, but that's for another time. But my question is, do you think in hindsight, if Spurs just committed to Nuno, they probably wouldn't be in this situation? The reason I'm asking is because he's a manager that's typically used to working with a small budget as well. Do you think you'd be better off right now than you are if you kept with him?
In hindsight, look at what he's done with Nottingham Forest. Yeah, that's another thing. People love to talk about Unai Emery and Arteta, but why is no one talking about what Nuno's doing compared to what he did with us? That's another one. But yeah, when I look at Nuno, I think he was dealt very, very, very poorly with the.
I think that's because of the fans or the board.
Both. Like the club, Daniel Levy said on numerous interviews when he's done conferences, speaking with like the fans forums, he said that like to play an attractive brand of football, which we're not doing right now, to develop young players, which we are obviously doing with Bergvall and Gray, etc., and Mikey Moore. Well, I don't know where he's disappeared off the face of the earth, and to be competitive. Like when at that same fans forum, he never mentioned winning a trophy in his top 5 accomplishments as being Spurs chairman. The first thing he mentioned was the stadium. And now the club tweeted out saying 6 years since our fantastic ground. Yeah, the biggest star we've seen at that ground is Beyonce. Like, what are the football club doing from a footballing perspective to progress?
She's got more legs on her now than Son as well, bruv. So she might be able to do a job here. Like,
Isn't Chris Brown coming?
Listen, it's ridiculous.
They've had WizKid, man. They're going all over the place.
WizKid. We got the there's rumours that SummerSlam's going to be there.
Hey.
That's kind of cool, to be fair.
No, nice.
Might see some championships in there for once.
Everything but football. Everything but football in that place is cool.
The thing is with the Nuno conversation, I saw that trending. I saw an Arsenal fan tweet that today, and I thought, I get the banter behind it.
No, for me, it wasn't actually banter. It wasn't banter.
No. I get the banter behind it. In the seriousness of the question, no, they wouldn't have been better off sticking with Nuno, because the fans hated the way Nuno, the way Jose, and the way Conte played. Because Spurs, whether people like it or not, are renowned for actually playing very nice football. It's never really led to very much in our lifetimes, but they were always a club where they were meant to play attacking football. But I think their identity is something that between the fans and the ownership, they've almost got to have a conversation about this, because there is so much competition now compared to when Spurs were a swashbuckling team that played beautiful attacking football. The world of football has changed. And you actually look at how, doesn't mean you can't play attractive football, because I've seen Nottingham Forest this year against certain teams play really nice football, attack and be aggressive. But they have a system and they have a setup where when they're up against sides that have better technicians, have better quality on the ball, they're very comfortable being more pragmatic in those games. And I think that's something Tottenham need to have a look at when it comes to themselves from an identity perspective. That do you have to be the team that has all of the ball? Do you have to have an exciting attacking manager? Does it have to be that way? Or should you adapt with the modern day time slightly? Because you're never going to be, I don't believe, in any of our lifetimes, the top team, the second, third, or fourth, or fifth, maybe even the 6th most attractive team in England. So the idea that in our league, you're going to be able to have enough quality players to play attractive football the majority of the time, be the aggressor, dominate the ball, play the Spurs way, which I hear Spurs fans talk about on their shows. I don't know how plausible that is in the modern day world. I think there's an element of understanding maybe where you sit in the pyramid, the quality of players you can actually attract, and then having a style of play, a squad, and a head coach that brings that all to life. And I look at Forest. I think Forest look like they're growing really well. The worst thing they can suddenly do this summer is go, Nuno, thanks for getting us there if they make the Champions League. We're going to go and buy a couple of really expensive players, and we're going to bring in a really forward-thinking, progressive manager that likes to dominate the ball and doesn't do anything pragmatic. They ain't got the squad for that. They ain't got the facilities for it. I think they go backwards very quickly. I just think nowadays I think Spurs have got an identity crisis as one of their major issues. They think about yesteryear and how they played, but is it plausible to ever build, or in the modern day world, to build a squad that can do that? It's why Big Andy's struggling.
But it should be, though, Terry.
Sorry, go on, mate. Go on. Why should it be?
It should be, because we're quite unquote the 9th richest club in the world. There's teams that have got far less financial stability and are performing so much better.
Okay, let's say you've got even more money, though. Like, genuinely, what is it about you? Hand on heart, I don't even mean this as a banner. What's more attractive about you than City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool? But you see, I'm naming those clubs. Newcastle. The point is, there's a finite amount of players that can, one, make you win trophies, and at the same time dominate the ball, be the aggressors, and be attacking all the time. There isn't enough players in the world for all 6 of the big 6 in England to have a squad like that. I don't believe it's possible.
That's when the chairman,
with Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain. I think there's a time where you have to look at this and go, we have got to be more adaptive. The way you play under Big Andrew, as an example, is always going to be suicidal for a club your size with a squad. No matter how good your squad is, there's a limit to how good your squad could ever be, in my personal opinion, unless you bought 5 or 6 youngsters that all turn into world-class players. I think there's a limitation to it. And that's not a dig. It's understanding
it's the truth.
Who and what you are, and maybe that will help you become a better team.
But then I also think what you're saying is bang on. There are a lot of our fans that act like we are. You only got to sit in a pub for 5 minutes next to one of us, and it's like with the chest is out, acting like we're flipping Dave Bautista. But when you look at the chairman, in my opinion, should actually come out and put the football first rather than the rest of the financial side of things, because the amount of money they charge for shirts, for merchandise, for a season ticket gives from a consumer's perspective, thinking we are going to do something. You can't charge £1,400 for a season ticket and finish 15th in the league. That just is categorically unacceptable. We're paying more than some Madrid fans. And Madrid, I know you can't compare the club size, but there's an expectation at Madrid that you are going to win. There's an expectation at Tottenham that we're just going to be. We're basically the North London O2. That is what we are. We are the North London O2. But you can go and see your favorite artist, and then when it comes to a Sunday, we're getting absolutely spanked. Like the Chelsea game on Thursday. Where is the chest that we're going to go and beat Chelsea? When's the last time we beat Chelsea? The Chelsea right now are dross in terms of the way they're playing.
Should you have that chest at the minute, though? Considering where your team is and where Chelsea are.
That's what I'm saying. Why is this? Oh, yeah, we'll beat Chelsea. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't see where we're scoring goals, but we'll get onto that another day.
Well, it's a great segue. It's a great segue. Obviously, the game goes ahead this week. Dudes, how do you feel about this game? Because you nearly always beat Tottenham, but you are struggling for goals as well. How do you see the game panning out on Thursday?
Well, listen, Tottenham's always, if there's any team that I'm usually confident getting 3 points. Out of all the other 19 teams, it's usually Tottenham because we somehow find our way to 3 points with respect to Henry. But I just think the way we're playing at the moment, I can't see where we're going to get the 3 points from the way we're playing. But at the same time, I kind of know we are going to get 3 points. But that's probably due to the way Tottenham are, if that kind of makes sense. But a win against Tottenham means nothing. Again, with respect to Tottenham fans, the win against Tottenham means nothing for us. Means absolutely nothing because
Champions League
we
football
should be beating Tottenham season in, season out.
But you see what I mean? That's an expectation.
Yeah.
That's because you are a bigger football club, but we walk around like we are Liverpool. My fan base.
Glad you know.
Is so deluded. And then you've got a manager who plays suicide football with a squad that isn't good enough. But that squad is still better than 15th. And like
how many people are having this moment that Henry's having over the last? How many Tottenham fans are going through these same realizations?
I don't think there's many though.
That's key to growth. Yeah, that's key to the growth of this club.
I think as Sadie said, there is still a large part of the Tottenham fan base that would sit there if a manager came in and played some nice looking football and go, you know what? It's not that bad, this is it?
We've got our Tottenham back.
It's not that bad.
You can go and watch Adele in a couple of weeks. Like, it's a fucking joke.
Do you know what it'll be? They'll say, at least we're doing it the right way.
This is another thing. What is the Tottenham way?
Vibes.
It's like where's the West Ham way?
Losing.
It's just not winning things.
It's one of them ones.
The Tottenham way is just not winning things. It's just ridiculous.
But you look good not winning though.
You used to win stuff, though.
Wait.
You did used to win cups, though.
Yeah, and then until Enoch and Daniel Levy got in charge, and put financial things first.
This is the chat.
You know how much we've grown as a club financially? 20 million to 4 billion in 20 years is ridiculous growth. Football perspective, we have fallen off a cliff. Like, in terms of winning major honours. I'm not saying we used to win consistently, like every year, but we'd win on average 3 trophies, maybe 4 trophies a decade. Now,
how do we see panel wise? I'm going to go Will first on this. Will ain't said too much. How do you see this game panning out? Who do you see winning it and why?
I think Chelsea get the 3 points just because even though despite what they got going on with like their poor form, they're just more structured, and I think that they do have a better squad than what Tottenham do at the moment. So
not by much,
I think Chelsea.
Not by much, but yeah, I think you're right in what you're saying.
Probably 1-0.
No.
I'll say I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say 2-1. I think with our defending, you will somehow find a way to score against us. With our defense, you will get a goal.
We are going to be relying on Brennan Johnson though, just to let you know, and he's
What about me? What about Solanke?
That's if he's fit.
What about me?
I've just been reading the comments about 2-3 people saying I look like Solanke already. So
no, you do that. I mean, Spurs have got a few, but who Spurs got out? I mean, it says here that Spurs have got Bergvall, Kulusevski, Richarlison, Danso out. Dragusin, of course. What about Chelsea?
Played, though. He played 45 minutes in Europa League game, then come back and played another game and hasn't really played since. Romero, has played one lot of 90 minutes for Spurs in about 3 months, yet plays back-to-back 90s for Argentina. Just kind of shows you where his priority's at. And then you look at, in terms of fullback, Pedro Porro, apparently he's fit, but he's kind of playing with a little injury, but he'll probably play through it. So there isn't really an excuse attacking-wise to not go and cause Chelsea problems because other than Kulu, Son's fit, Maddison's fit, Bergvall will play, Archie Gray's fit, Bentancur, all these players were playing for their countries, but I don't have any confidence. We've won at Stamford Bridge once or twice in 30 years.
This is the game, Henry, where Cole Palmer is going to find his form again.
Exactly. I was about to say, we're going to be Robin Hood and we're going to give him what he wants.
We'll have Jackson back as well. And I think Jackson's been this is another topic, but I think Jackson's been such a massive miss in this Chelsea team, and Chelsea fans, I think, are starting to realise that. But again, it's a different topic.
I don't think you'd need Jackson for this game, though.
Well, no, not for this game, but I'm saying like what he brings to us. Like we lack that urgency up front. We lack that press, that to an extent of physical presence. Yes, he's not the best finisher in the world. We know that, but yeah.
1.5 billion in. Did you think you'd have to be waiting on Jackson to return?
Yes, I know. That's my issue. That's my issue with the club, bro. I'm agreeing with you. That's my issues with the club. But for the time being, we have to make do with what we've got. And Jackson is probably the best of what we got. I'm hearing this news about Gyökeres going to Arsenal. I'm sitting there going, what about us?
What about Sancho? Sancho's still at your club, no?
Yeah, I know. I'm not happy with him either. Bro, the thing is, you're preaching to the converted, bro. You're preaching to the converted. I'm agreeing with everything
you weren't feeling him when he signed for Chelsea, no?
Not really. He had a bit of like a
you heard that, not really, right, Terry? Not really.
But look, I'll back Doobs on this. Like, I don't think it's about Jackson's the man. It's just they are better with him. That they still need much better than Jackson. So when we're talking about this game in isolation, I agree. I do think you have missed him. Now he missed some big chances in the beginning of this run, but you look at the form table since you went second in the league back in the middle of December. You've played 14. I think it's 14 games have been played. You've won 4 of them. They've been against all 4 teams that are below you in that period's form table. The only other 2 teams below you in that form table, one of them is Tottenham, one of them is Ipswich. Everybody else you play between now and the end of the season, barring those 2, has been above you. So it's going to be a very interesting time. And look, listen, from a Chelsea perspective, they need Palmer to step back up. They're going to need Jackson to come back with a little bit of a spring in his step and score some goals, because Champions League football, I think, is so important to Chelsea. We saw the financial results come out today regarding Chelsea, and I think they're really an interesting read. They've made a pre-tax profit of 128 million. That is massively up from a 90 million loss last year. Very well worded the next sentence, which says Chelsea's profit was due to increased profit on disposal and player registrations. It's a very, very weird way to talk about player sales. But then it speaks about repositioning the women's team. So I asked a few people, what does that mean? They sold the women's team to Blueco along with the hotels. So the profit's real, and it's smart business for the financial mess they found themselves in. But essentially, Chelsea Football Club FC has sold assets to Blueco. So Chelsea FC has become a less valuable football club because it's sold its assets, but it's generated income, which means they've made profits. The interesting thing is, it does mean there's almost no excuse to not go out and buy that experience now this summer because the profit's there. But I did see a story today, Doobs, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. I don't want to get too sidetracked from the game, but the reports are suggesting you are not going to buy another goalkeeper this summer. And I just thought, even the most diehard Clear Lake lover, like a Don or a Ches, no one's happy with that decision. Or David, no one can be happy with sticking with your current goalkeepers. That's crazy, right?
What are you talking about? Sanchez is the best keeper in the league. What are you talking about? Anyway, coming back down to earth. Listen, I'm not surprised, but I'm shocked at the same time. It's just, you've watched a season of Robert Sanchez in goal, not getting any better. If anything, it looks like he's getting worse every game. And if they're going to dress it
coming back now.
Let me finish. Yeah, if you're going to dress it up as Petrovic is coming back, yes, you know what? Petrovic's had a brilliant season at Strasbourg, but I still want to sign another goalkeeper. In my opinion, Jorgensen isn't good enough either. So I want Robert Sanchez out the door the second. If it was down to me, Sanchez would be out the door the second the window opens. Jorgensen, I mean, we're not going to sell him after one window on this board, but I just don't think he's good enough either. I'd keep Petrovic and assign another keeper, whether it's a Corbell, a Diogo Costa. And that's not realistic, I get it, but...
Do you not think Jorgensen's even good enough to be a backup?
I don't... Well, no, maybe he's good enough to be a backup, but I want to be like... I want like an elite pair of goalkeepers. Same like Alisson and Kelleher. I want to cut that level. Not
you can have Kelleher if you want him.
Jorgensen. Yeah, but they're not going to sell. They're not going to sell Kelleher to me.
He's in the last year of his deal.
Hey, Ramsdale on the cheap.
I don't think.
I saw a thing coming out saying that he's more likely to go Bournemouth or something like that.
No, if Bournemouth buy Kepa off you, we'll sell Kelleher to you.
Hey, relegated Ramsdale on the cheap, dudes, mate.
I mean, I don't know why we're talking about Chelsea getting a goalkeeper anyway. They've got that lad from Belgium who is still in Belgium. They've probably got a lad from Brazil who's still in Brazil. They've probably got a lad from Serbia who's still in Serbia. You'll realise that Chelsea bought 8 goalkeepers in the last 2 years.
Well,
they're just not ready yet.
This is the point. How do you sign 9 goalkeepers and none of them are like elite? And this goes back to the ownership. Kunle said earlier, 1.5 billion spend, and we're relying on Jackson. Let's put it in the context of goalkeepers. 1.5 billion spend. Robert Sanchez is our number 1 goalkeeper.
I was just going to say, LeBron raises a good point here, because when I was scouting keepers for City, the top name was actually Petrovic in terms of the data. So there is a world there where he becomes your really good starting goalkeeper, in fairness.
So maybe Chelsea were playing like the ultimate 4D chess. And knew that they had to stand by Robert Sanchez for a year so Petrovic can get that extra development that he needs.
I don't think
this doesn't explain Jorgensen.
You have a lot of loopholes that you not have been able to find this Chelsea team, so you never know.
Well, listen, if Petrovic comes back and becomes like the best keeper in the league, I'll say fair play to the board. If it's down to me, I'd still sign another goalkeeper, but it's come out that they're not going to do that, so fair enough. But listen, if Robert Sanchez is out the door this summer, then I'll be a bit more satisfied. I can't watch him another season.
I feel like no matter what you... I don't think if you don't improve, whether it's Petrovic, whether he really is top 5 goalkeepers in Europe, I'd love to know what statistical data went into that.
So all sorts of stats have come out of that, but yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, when I looked into it, I looked at the stats called post-shot expected goals, less goals against. It's basically a stat that tries to quantify shot stopping. It was also to do with the volume of passes, and it was also to do with the successful completion of the passes within a under 25 age range. And he was like, it was actually Kelleher And it was the Lille keeper Chevalier, who I want for City, and it was also Costa of Porto, and I can't recall the fifth one. But those are the stats I looked at anyway. And if that's what LeBron's looked at.
I mean, look, from a Chelsea perspective, they're going to hope that works out. But you end up going into next season with Sanchez as your goalkeeper. There's just limitations of how well you can do, because those mistakes are just going to be there. And I know that as a Man United fan, I'm not even like talking with Onana. Onana can go through periods where you're like, oh yeah, it looks great. But you just know there's 2 or 3 games a season that Onana is going to cost us, and maybe more. Maybe I'm being conservative with that. Sorry, dude. I
was going to say, at the same time, as much as I can't stand Sanchez and he's like massive blame for this season, I still think our defense doesn't help him, and I want to sign another centre back this summer, because our defense has been poor this season, and I think Sanchez's mistakes have kind of covered up the defense's errors. So like, no one's looking at the defense; they're looking at Sanchez diving up, missing the ball. They're looking at him kicking the ball off or giving the ball away to an attacker. Because for me, Levi Colwill is not good enough yet. I'm not saying I want him sold, but for me, he's not good enough yet. I think Badishile, we know about him. Fofana's injury record, we can't rely on him. The fact that we're sitting here, 1.5 billion spent. Tosin, who I don't think is that bad, but he's our most experienced player and probably our best centre back this season. It says a lot. It really says a lot. So we need a lot of installments in many positions this summer. That's the thing with Arsenal, right? They're going to go for Gyökeres. That's like the final piece to their puzzle. Whereas us, if we did sign the Gyökeres, there's still other positions on the pitch that we actually need.
So we'll hit 2 billion spent.
Hold on, dude.
Very interesting.
Go on. What's he got to say?
But dude, why do you always refer to Arsenal?
No, I'm bigging you guys up. I'm saying
why were your reference point always? But yet you're not Arsenal, you said. That's like
we need a striker as well. So I'm saying we're both going after a striker. I'm saying the reason why that's what I'm saying. Gyökeres is like the final piece to your puzzle. But for us, we're in a different situation. I'm just comparing the two, because a lot of Chelsea fans will be like, we need a striker. Jackson's
I agree. I think what's interesting, at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of Chelsea fans pushing the narrative that the squads were so closely aligned, Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool. I think by the end of, even now, not the end of the season, the end of March 2025, I think there is a clear gulf in overarching quality between, especially when it comes to the defense, goalkeepers, midfields of those two teams compared to Chelsea. Yep. I think there's an absolutely massive gulf in quality, consistency, availability, everything combined. I don't even think they're comparable.
Gabriel and Saliba, Colwill and Tosin. Exactly. That's what exactly.
Some say they have similar talent levels, mate. Some of your fans have said.
Well, I don't. I'm not one of them.
I don't want to name any names, but we know who.
Go on, name them. Go on.
I think the whole panel knows who.
Yeah, don't. It'll be in my DMs. But score predictions for the game. What we going with? We'll go to Tom first. Score predictions for Chelsea versus Tottenham. What are you saying?
So you've got a team that is struggling to attack at the minute versus a team that is not only struggling to attack at the minute, but is also struggling to defend at the minute, and in turn does nothing to solve either of those problems. You know what it'll be like? It'll be like that 4-3 that happened earlier this season, like a 3-2, but it'll be the lowest quality 3-2 you'll have seen in a while. It'll be the luckiest goals, the scrappiest goals. There won't be many great patterns of play. I think you'll end up seeing parts of the game where Chelsea are just doing what is effectively a 5-out attack, you know, in basketball, where everyone camps on the edge of the 3-point line and no one wants to push it. And that'll be Chelsea because, you know, Jackson might not be 100% fit, so he might not start. If they do Neto up front again, no one for Chelsea actually wants to be in the box. So they'll just all stand on the edge of the box, passing it to each other, waiting for someone to make a move. Then Tottenham will get a counter-attack and fuck it up. But they'll push so far up that Chelsea will end up getting the space that they wanted. It's going to be such a low-quality game, but it'll be high scoring because the team can defend.
Kind of like the low-quality 4-1 last season.
Yeah, ironically, that 4-1 was also low-quality football because Chelsea couldn't figure out how to beat an offside trap for 70 minutes.
But Spurs are going to control the whole narrative of the game. So they're going to start the game on the ascendancy, and they're going to be the reason why they also lose the game.
No,
it's going to be sensational to watch.
Do you know what it is, Kunle? Do you know what it is? Spurs are very good at being good in the 5 minutes that matters in a game. So right before half-time, Tottenham Hotspur will have a flurry, and then everyone will go, they weren't that bad, were they? You got looking at the end of the half, they can't have been that
We
bad.
did that against Bournemouth.
You do that in most games, Henry. Most games, Tottenham Hotspur end the half quite well, and people go, they weren't that bad. They're just a little bit unlucky. They'll kick on in the second half, and the same thing happens again.
And then like 86 minutes.
Spurs will beat themselves in that game. I think.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, that's what I think. That's the only reason I'm confident we'll get the 3 points, because of Spurs, not because of us. That's the thing.
I think we'll lose 1-0. I don't think we'll
3-2, bro. 3-2.
I think the Fulham game we had a number of half decent chances, but Fulham in the last 15 minutes, just as soon as they got past our back line, that was it. I don't know if you've got Palmer back, maybe
we'll have a lot of players back. We'll have Palmer and Jackson back.
Are they both fully fit?
Pardon, who?
Is Palmer and Jackson both fully fit?
They're both fit. Yeah, I think they will play.
All right,
but I'm telling you now, you guys will score. We are not keeping a clean sheet.
2-1 Chelsea, I think.
2-1. That's my score prediction, to be fair.
Interesting one. Viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions in the comment section below. This here says, is it just me, or does Doobs look very much like Philip Billing? I mean, the resemblance is very unreal. Man's enjoying Naples.
Not as bad as getting called Harvey Price, which I have been a couple of times, but
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I reckon that's one of the better ones you've been called recently. Doobs.
Nah, it's actually kind of crazy.
Sorry.
I hope, Terry, from now on you dismiss all teams' positions in the table and only focus on the form table. This whole season, you've only mentioned us for it. I think I've probably mentioned the form table at other times this campaign, but I'm talking about it because the Chelsea that we've seen in the last 5, 6, 7 weeks has been a very different Chelsea to the team that we saw in the beginning of the season. You haven't been as cutting edge. Your defending hasn't been as good. Your finishing, your creativity, everything has gone backwards. So you're looking at a turning point. And up until the middle of December, when you went a few points off top and you were 1 win away from, I think, going top at that point, you have been a very different side. And you progressively, from a numbers point of view, got worse. You had a few games against the relegation sides where your numbers have improved and your goals have come back. But just for the very next game, for there to be the same problems. So the form guide is a very key indicator when we're reviewing when we're previewing games. How you're doing at this moment in time is the key indicator. We haven't got to Man United yet, but I don't have much confidence of beating Nottingham Forest, but I'm more confident now than I was 5-6 weeks ago because their overall play has improved, their defending has improved. We've had a few players that have started to score goals. So the form table is increasingly important to talk about. And we always, whether we mention the form table specifically because research has been done, or we talk about how well a team is playing in the moment, I would say most of the times myself and the panel preview games, we speak about how a team is performing in that moment as opposed to how good they were 4 or 5 months ago. I think that's fairly normal, DJ, to do. Maybe I'm wrong. The panel might disagree with me, but I think that's what we tend to do on the terrace. Will, what are your thoughts on Russell Wilson going to the Giants and maybe not getting Sanders?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're going to be trash next season regardless. So it is what it is.
At least you've got pain in certain sports. I love that. I'm not going to lie.
I only know happiness in just this sport. All my American teams are trash. Oh my
Who's
God.
your basketball team?
I get the Real Madrid thing now. I get it now.
Literally jumpers. Yeah. Do you know what it is? That's God. That's the sporting gods. They're saying, listen, you picked Real Madrid at 14. It was such an easy pick of a football side. We are going to take, what we've given to you here, we're going to take away from you elsewhere. If you'd have picked a more humble team, if you'd have gone, do you know what? I'm going to be calm. Yeah, an Atletico Madrid fan. I bet your American teams will be flying right now. The sporting gods, they can't give you it all. You can't have it all, is what they're saying.
Yeah,
that's a joke, by the way, people. Some people get triggered when I say that. It's just a joke. It doesn't mean anything. It's like going to it's calm.
My American basketball team is the equivalent of Tottenham, so I feel your pain sometimes.
But the American teams you support, that's based on where you're from, right? More so
yeah. So I'm from New York, so New York.
Should have been a Knicks fan.
Yeah, but no. But I've seen 2 Super Bowls though, which is the equivalent of Champions League. In
Yeah,
American
they ain't see. You're not the equivalent to Spurs then. Like you can't be.
No.
Yeah.
No, see, my American football team.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I got
Because remember,
confused
it's
with
basketball
Yeah,
and American
yeah,
football.
yeah.
So, like those are like that's like a decade ago. But I lived through it, so it's all good.
You saw it, but your sport's different as well. It's hard. I know some teams do, but the way your thing works with the drafts, the worst teams get the better players.
Yeah,
It is hard for any. It's almost impossible in American sports for teams to be like Real Madrid or be like what City have done. Like no team could like win the title like 5, 6, 7 years. It's almost impossible for that to happen in your
and there's
sport.
only one trophy that you can win. It's not like in American football, like there's no FA Cup or Carabao. It's just the Super Bowl, and if you don't win that, then you're trophyless. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I get that. So do you not even get like a trophy if you win like your division? That you
get a conference, don't you? Like,
well, I mean, like they call you like, oh, you're the NFC East champions, but like nobody cares.
Do they actually give you a trophy then?
I don't even think so. Like you get like a banner at like your stadium. Like they might hang a banner.
Tottenham would love that.
Tottenham, yeah, that sounds very Tottenham.
Absolutely love that.
Oh, yeah, cool.
If they got
Banners in the trophy cabinet.
Imagine if Tottenham got a banner for every top 4 finish. Oh, they'd be putting them all up around their stadium.
Gold plated by now, bro. Gold plated.
Yeah. Is yours gold?
Yeah.
All of that, honestly.
I have another super chat from DJ here that says, Terry, you talk about Chelsea for gassing up their squad. You in the summer gassed up your crap United squad. Well, I think I predicted this to come maybe somewhere in the top 8 at a push, but I said it wouldn't be a very good season. I certainly didn't say it was as good as Liverpool or Arsenal's. However, I also thought Chelsea's squad was better than Man United's, and I thought that I think I predicted you coming in the top 4 and you're still in that area. But this isn't about point scoring. I can't do, DJ, I know you want me to, but in good conscience, I can't just lie to Chelsea fans like yourself over the past 3 months and say you've been really good. I can't do that. I don't know, like it's a bit like cheating on a football game. If I had a code I could type in before I played on FIFA Ultimate Team and it guaranteed I was to win, genuinely, unless it was for a one-off game against a mate for a bit of bragging rights once, it wouldn't mean anything. If you just won every game, you knew you were going to win. Every game you win 5-0, easy. The game would get boring really quickly. So I can't just sit here and lie. If I was sitting here and lie to you and go how brilliant you are, how brilliant Chelsea have been, surely you don't want that, DJ. You have been very poor in the last 3 months, and I've called your club out for it. However, when you were brilliant at the beginning of the season, I was praising you and saying how well you were doing. Please tell me, DJ, what I'm saying that you feel is so wrong about Chelsea at this moment in time that, in fact, I'm not praising them. By the way, I'm not praising Spurs either. Very little praise for Man United at all. So, what am I not saying that you want me to say, DJ? Tell me, brother. Tell me, my bro. I need to understand what I'm not saying that you're offended by. Please. You can come with me. You can come with me to the Knicks playoffs opener, Will.
Ignore him.
Speaking of Man United, is Marcus Rashford back?
No.
Oh, it's time for this annual 2-year conversation.
I mean, let me just frame this right, because I don't want DJ to get upset in the comment section thinking I'm gassing up something connected to Man United. Actually, got to frame it. The media are the ones who are saying this. I don't think Villa fans are enjoying him, and I understand it. There are a few Man United fans are saying it, like, but again, just more his fanboys. But it's the media that are really pushing this notion that United have made this gargantuan mistake regarding Rashford. He's back. He's proving his brilliance. Is that an overstatement from the media, or have Man United here made a big mistake? I'll go to you first, Tom.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No. United haven't made a big mistake. Ruben Amorim had Rashford for 2 months and didn't like him. I don't think that he was going to suddenly start liking him and start playing him and fitting him into the system, because he would have done that in the 2 months previously. The fact of the matter is, the manager himself came out and said, I'd rather play my goalkeeping coach than him. That's about as damning as you can get. There was not a world where Marcus Rashford starts playing this season and becomes crucial to Amorim's plans. So he needed to go out on loan. The funny thing is, I said it jokingly before, but it is an annual 2-year conversation with Rashford. We had it in 2023 in the first season at Ten Hag. We had it in 2021 when it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We seem to have this every 2 or 3 years with Rashford, where he shows a level of consistency for a couple of months, and everyone goes, "Oh, this is the Rashford that we thought." No, Rashford is what he is. In a year's time, the media will be back on his back saying, "Oh, he's crap and he's this, he's that," because he'll be doing the same thing that he does. At the end of the day, he will be enjoying it at Aston Villa because Aston Villa are playing to his strengths. They're a team that wants to play on the counter-attack, play into the space behind the opposition leave, play a direct style of football, and play him off the left wing. United can't play him off the left wing. You don't have a left winger unless he wants to do, left wing back. That's the closest he'll get to a left wing. So he's not going to do that. There was no spot for him in this United team, so there's no point in saying United made a big error because he wasn't going to play anyway. At least you've got money for him, and his stock will be up by the time he gets to the summer, so you can get more money for him. That's all it's about.
I'd actually argue I totally agree with Tom, and I'd argue that actually it's the opposite of he's back, because I don't think Amorim ever questioned his quality or abilities. He was, again, someone please correct me if I'm wrong, he was questioning his attitude and his mentality and his effort levels. So if we're now seeing if we're now seeing the performances at United, which were, what subpar, whatever, lack of effort levels, whatever you want to say, and now all of a sudden he's smashing it at Villa, doesn't that illustrate that Amorim was right and that there was an attitude problem or a mentality concern there? Because he's the same player, but why was it not working at United? Why were these performances not happening? Why are they now happening at Villa? Wouldn't it illustrate that, if anything, United should be happy with their decision and should be, in fact, even more confident in their decision?
I just think
not conclusion.
I just think it's another thing, like the media, because of Man United situation and where they are on the table. It's the media trying to paint them in an even worse light, saying, "Oh my God, they let go of Rashford. It was such a mistake," because they've got players like Garnacho on the wing at the moment. Whereas Rashford really isn't an upgrade on Garnacho, in my opinion. I might be wrong in saying that. Someone might not agree.
Wow.
I don't think he's much better than Garnacho. So it's just the media trying to again make the United situation seem even worse than it already is.
Yeah, and I love. Okay, sorry.
So I was going to put the stats up here. These are some stats that came out yesterday, all comps that just show he's creating more chances, more big chances, getting more assists, taking more shots, having more touches, playing more balls into the box. Now, granted, Villa are a better team than Man United, but in terms of league positions, they're 9th, we're 13th. And there's 6 or 7 points between us. So actually in the league, there's not been a gargantuan difference in performances in the teams this year. But I would say Villa are a better team than us, which plays a part. But my gut feeling just straight away goes to, and I've watched him on the pitch, my eyes also show me, he's working harder at Aston Villa. He's running more, he's tracking more, he's asking for the ball more. When he's making mistakes, his shoulders aren't dropping. He's saying, "Well, give me the ball back, give me the ball back." I wouldn't even call it an attitude problem at United. I just think he was done. There's okay. We made a relationship example earlier. I'll give one now as an analogy. You've probably done this on the panel. Some of you have done this, or you've had a girlfriend do it to you when you were younger, or you've had friends that have done this. I'm not saying you become nasty, but maybe you're not putting the effort in anymore. You're not booking the nicest restaurant. What do you want to do Friday? I'd rather stay in. As opposed to, let's go out somewhere nice and dress up and have fun. How many of you have been in relationships where you're like, let's go out Friday night. I'd rather stay in, she says, and let's watch a bit of TV. And it isn't too much longer until the relationship fizzles out and you move on. And that energy and effort wasn't there because you guys didn't want to be in a relationship anymore. Suddenly the new person comes along and you're there, you're suited, you're booted, you're getting the car cleaned on a Friday just to go pick her up. You're booking the restaurant. You're showing her your best side. That's all I'm seeing here from Rashford is someone that's right. I'm out of a situation I didn't want to be in. Partly his fault, partly Man United's, and I'm working harder now. I'm showing my best side, which everyone does. I just feel again
lying to the new girl. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's lying. It's just when you're happy. No, I hear you, but it could be that, right? Because it could be the consistency thing.
I think that it has to do with Aston Villa, and more so, I think that you're right. Aston Villa, they are a better team than Manchester United. He's playing with better players, and I think he has a better manager than what he would have had with Ruben Amorim. So I think all those do play a factor, but I think he's playing for a move in the summer. I don't think that he wants to stay at Aston Villa. I think that he's just used them as just a way to get back in the Champions League, right? Showcase his talent. He's gonna give a lot of effort, and in the summer, right? We remember like all those links to like Barca, PSG, like Bayern. I think like that's what he has in the back of his mind is that like if he plays really well, then he can get a big money move to a bigger club.
I don't think there's a better club for him than Villa at the minute, though.
Well,
if we're just looking at his strengths,
hang on a minute. There's no better teams in Europe. There's no better teams in Europe than Aston Villa.
No, we talk about
for him. To get the best out of him.
Tom, do you know why I
to get the most out of him? To get the most out of Rashford, I think he needs to be at a team that is playing. I think he needs to be at a team that's playing the style of football that Villa plays. I don't think that Barcelona play that way. I don't think that Bayern play that way, but Villa want to play that
way. I agree. Sorry, go on, Conley. Sorry,
I hear what everyone's saying, but for me, I think this move has been perfect for both Rashford and Man United for the sheer fact that, as you said, Terry, Rashford was done. Like mentally, he was done with that whole project. So what the mistake that both parties could make from now after his looking a lot better than he was at United is Rashford could think, oh, I got the momentum back. Maybe I could go back to United with a new attitude, or Villa deciding, he's done well for 6 months. Let's buy him. I don't think any of them things would be right because I see the Jesse Lingard thing happening where he had a good 6 months and everyone thought he was really good and then goes back.
And this is why Man United fans, look, La Liga yesterday tweeted about Anthony again, saying Anthony is aura. I've tweeted as a bit of a joke, but it's only half a joke and half serious. I look at it every time. I think Man United's boardroom. If I could sit there now in front of Ineos, I'd say, listen, every time, not Real Betis. Every time La Liga tweet about him, add £2 million to the asking price. Because from a Real Betis point of view, their own league is bigging up his aura, his quality. That, for me, is worth money. Man United fans playing this down. Listen, I want to big up what Rashford's doing loads, but some Man United fans are I'm sorry to say it, are so stupid. They're like, this makes us look bad. But no one with a brain thinks it makes us look bad. Everyone understands the situation and scenario to a certain degree. Player had fallen out of love with being at the football club. The new head coach was not seeing the dedication that he wanted. Or it might even be that. I can understand Ruben Amorim saying, I don't want you running your backside off and working hard just to get a move away. It's like, if you're going to do that, we'll loan you out because I want someone that I'm going to help. If I want someone to be a stalwart in this team this season, I want that to be someone that wants to be here next year, the year after, the year after. There are multiple permutations as to why the relationship broke down. I don't necessarily think it was the manager didn't like him or he hates the manager. I just think Rashford was done with Man United. And I think an honest conversation has taken place. And I don't think we've made a mistake. He didn't want to be here anymore. We do this a lot. McTominay's done well at Napoli. Doesn't mean he'd be amazing for us. When Lingard, as you mentioned, had a good 6 months, the amount of United fans, I always knew he was top class. He isn't. The query is now. He's not. At the end of the day, I like Rashford. I think he's a very good football player. I think he'll have a very good career afterwards. I don't think he's going to have a good career if he'd stayed at Man United because mentally he was done. And people were saying, Terry, any toxic relationships. I'm talking about when I was a youngster. Like when you're a young man, it's different. Do you know what I mean? You don't you're not as mature as, but now I just wouldn't date someone that I wasn't really into. I wouldn't waste my time. Genuinely, if I was like, I can't see this. When you get to my age, you see someone, it's like, could this go into a proper relationship where we live together and stuff? If the answer is no, you're like, I'm not even going to meet. You just get old, you get bored. When you're younger, it's different. You're out and about, you're gallivanting, you're having a bit of a good time. It is how it is. But
Terry, do you think that it's also to the fact that at Manchester United, like Rashford was supposed to be like the guy where it's like all that pressure's on him, where at Villa, he's able to kind of take more so of like a back seat because like the defense is more so focused on like a Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins, and then that opens up space.
I agree. Yeah. I would say this as well. But what is helping him? He's in a better team, and I mean, some in the comments have said he's got a better manager now, and that is a fair opinion to have with what Unai Emery has achieved in his career, and that could also play a part. But I have also seen Rashford. He was younger, granted, when Jose Mourinho was still in a very good stage of his career. Him have really bad periods under him as well. So I'm listen. We'll once he's sold and we get our money, I'd like him to do well. I wouldn't be surprised if he has up and down moments again in his career because he's 27 and that has happened to him a lot. But yeah, listen, right now, I'm not angry. I'm very happy he's doing well. I'm not one of these United fans that's upset. Every time he plays well and scores, if he goes to Villa, it will be 40 million. But what I am hoping is that you're right, Will. I'm hoping he is putting himself in the shop window. And I hope that he says to Villa, thank you, but I don't want to agree to terms. And then I hope another team comes along and went, well, based on your performances, there's 45, there's 50, there's 60 million, because that means we can reinvest more and we can all move on. But United have got a big game as well, though, tomorrow night, away at Nottingham Forest. Can anyone see United being able to break down and beat this very, very good Nottingham Forest team? How do we think the game's going to go, Nobbins?
Yeah, United will lose relatively comfortably. 3-0.
No, even genuinely irritated to have to talk about it. He's like,
even trying to go, well, maybe United could get a gut. No, it's like, no, they've lost. They're shit. They're going to lose 3-0.
The issue is this: it is a matchup of the total opposites. Forest play to the strengths of the squad. It's incredibly simplistic, but it's incredibly effective and it's incredibly brilliant. So that's not an insult, by the way. It just is incredibly brilliant how they operate. They know exactly what they're doing. Every player's got a certain job and a certain role. They perform it very well. At United, it's the total opposite based on what I've seen from them so far under Amorim. And that's not a dig against Amorim. I've touched on him before, how he needs many windows. I can't see anything other than a comfortable Forest win. I'll be very impressed if United can get a win.
Do you understand how mad that sentence is? I'd be very impressed if Manchester United can win away at Nottingham Forest.
Forest are a very good side.
No, I know this season it makes sense, but saying that sentence
in a vacuum, yes. Yeah.
I would be really impressed if Manchester United gets a win at Nottingham Forest. Sounds mental. And it goes to show the difference between the two teams this season. I think the only thing that stops Forest getting a comfortable win is the fact they played 120 on the weekend. And they went to pens.
Yeah, but they're going to be right up for it, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going to be,
right.
I
I think that they'll be up for it, but they'll be a little bit tired. I think like a 2-0, maybe 2-1. But you just look at the way the matchups are. Manchester United cannot defend corners. And I'm pretty sure Nottingham Forest have like the second most corner goals all season, or the second most set piece goals all season. And they've got a striker there in Chris Wood, who is in the best form of his Premier League career and is tall. It's like everything United can't handle. And then you go up the pitch and go the other end. Rasmus Højlund just wants to grind up on defenders, and Milenkovic and Murillo will just throw him to the floor. Like United just aren't set up to counter anything Forest do. That's the problem.
Yeah, the only way I see it, listen, I agree with Nobbins' final statement. I'd be very impressed if we were able to get a win away at Nottingham Forest, because they've been a sensational team this year. Our away record hasn't been great. I'm intrigued to see how we approach this game. Forest like to not have the ball in a lot of their games against the so-called top six, the so-called big six. I wonder whether they will give us that respect and let us have the ball. They may or they may not. I actually hope they attack us more and they try and have more of the ball, because I think our only real chance is to try and do to them what we did to Arsenal, what we did to Liverpool away, what we did to City away, and absorb, be hard to break down ourselves, and then try and catch them on the counter. I genuinely believe that's the only way we would be able to beat them. And as Q says here, if you, as in we, Man United, let Forest score first, we're finished. I agree with that as well. I think it'd be very, very difficult for us to beat them if we do that. But I actually think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both teams will score goals. I think both teams will score goals in the game. Both
at Forest, yeah.
Yeah, we've our games between them, this 3-2 earlier on this season. I think last year it was a 2-1 between us. There's often goals on both sides since they've been back in the Premier League. They've been not massively high goal scoring games, but 2, 3, 4 goals in nearly every single match between us since their return. I don't see that necessarily changing. When they beat us at Old Trafford earlier in the season, that was a mad game though, because 2 of their goals were just 2 of the biggest howlers you'll ever see from a goalkeeper. But we had 71% of the ball that day. So I'm just intrigued as to whether or not they let us have the ball and try and hit us on the counter, or whether we just go, well, we're away. I'd rather us try and give them the ball, try and give them the possession, because they're a very good team. Forest, I have a tremendous amount of respect for them, but I never, especially against the bigger sides or the bigger sides on like in terms of name, they're never as good when they've got more of the ball, typically speaking, but still very good. So I want to suppose they're weaker when they're the aggressor, I suppose, than when they're counter-attacking against the so-called bigger sides. But it's a hard one because we're a bigger side by name. We're a bigger side on paper. But in terms of league position, maybe they don't look at us that way. Maybe they will just play us off the park. Maybe they'll play through us and batter us, score 2 or 3 goals and make us look amateur. And that's not a crazy prediction. But sorry, go on, Kunle.
So I'd say that the reality is, like, as much as it hurts me to say, and I'm trying to say this like as calmly, with Bruno Fernandes, you never know. Let's be honest, like, you never know. With Bruno Fernandes in the side, you never know what man you're going to turn up, because they're unbeaten in the last 4 games. I know most people are looking at this Man United side and thinking there's not a scenario where Amorim gets it right, isn't it? Like, we can't be disingenuous and think that there isn't a scenario. There is. Like, 4 games unbeaten is a start. I'm not saying it's big, but it's a start. Where do you go from here? Bruno's in very good form. You never know. They might nick some good performances. I think between now and the end of the season, it's all about getting some decent performances, not really looking at the league position for United and trying to win that Europa League.
Europa League.
United for sure, but get some good performances in the Prem as well, though.
Yeah, but I think
the
point you're making on Bruno is why I think that they're a threat in the Europa League. That's knockout football. Knockout football is a lot more volatile, and it can be a case of if Fernandes turns up in every game in that Europa League, United can play badly, but he can drag them through games. He can get them big goals and get them big results.
And there needs to be a scenario where they don't have to rely on Højlund.
I just don't think that's going to happen in the league in these last couple of games. I think that what will end up happening, for Forest, that it might be a decent team that gets put out. But when United get to the quarterfinals of the Europa League and they've got, I don't know, Leicester on the weekend, Bruno is not walking out on that pitch for Leicester.
I'm more intrigued about our starting lineup for the Manchester derby on Sunday, which obviously comes before the before the Lyon game. But I just want to address this comment here from Sol that says Forest don't just counter. Well, only 6 of their goals are classified as counter-attack goals this season. However, I would love to see how the statisticians detail a counter-attack goal, because I swear like far more of theirs will come on the transition. But maybe if there's more than 2 passes, 3 passes in the transition, it's considered, or a time bar, it's considered counter-attack versus an open play goal. But they have the least amount of possession in the Premier League, so they on average have 39% of the ball across all their games this season. So as I say, I don't know how easy this is to do, and maybe it becomes about who blinks first. I think if we play into their hands, Man United, though, and have 70% of the ball, struggle to break them down, and they hit us on that counter, I think it's almost a certainty they win. If, though, we're able to go, right, you have the ball, maybe throw them off the game slightly, we've been quite successful when we've had less of the ball away from home in the Prem of late. So I'd like to see us try to do that. Now, again, it becomes about nerve. Maybe United players go, well, we can have more of the ball. We can break them down the score. We'll see. But I'm excited about the game. It's going to be a real good one.
I think that Forest are going to fall off towards this last 9 games. I just think they're going to fall off.
I hope so.
Yeah, I just don't believe in them. I think they'll still finish top 5, so they probably will be in the UCL. But I think
they have a hard run. Do we know?
Now I have no idea. I just don't believe in them. I'm like, it's just like I just have a feeling that they're just not going to be.
Just a hate
it's like the most mid-range run you could have. They've got
Chelsea's run is horrible.
You've got United, they've got Villa, then they play Everton, away to Spurs, home to Brentford, away to Palace, home to Leicester, away to West Ham, home to Chelsea, final day of the season.
It's like the most
it's like a mid kind of run, but I think that United will get a draw. I think it'll
I hope so. Look, from a very selfish perspective as a United fan, I liked our Ipswich performance as an example. I liked how he played in that game. I liked our performances in both Sociedad matches. The Leicester game was good. I loved the second half against Arsenal. I know we went out to Fulham, but we grew into that game and the confidence. We've had from our perspective, had some good performances and moments. We've got a mad acid test coming up. Forest followed by City, Lyon, away to Newcastle, at home to Lyon. Those 5-6 games are very difficult for multiple reasons. Of course, I want to win them all. I'm a Man United fan. I hope we win them all. There's always a chance. But it's about what the results look like coupled with the performances. Because I think if we can get some good performances and wins in that period, anything is then possible for the rest of our season. So I'm sort of looking at the performance levels. And listen, if we can go away to Forest and get a decent performance and get a draw at this stage of the season, as long as we're not getting any injuries, I would be happy with that, contextually speaking. I'm quite confident about playing City at the weekend. City still, for me, have not become a very good team after their purchases. And I think it's a derby, so it levels it out anyway. I'm very excited about that one.
The words you used there, quite confident. I'm just going to make sure you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. Let me probably fully form my sentence. That it wasn't. I'm quite confident that we could get a result. Like I'm not sitting there going, no chance of a win. No chance of a win. No chance of a win. I think we've got a good chance of beating City at the weekend. I think it's not
especially if the Haaland injury is serious.
Yeah. I mean, it's City can beat us. I'm not sitting there going, no chance City win, impossible. But I'm Man United could beat City at the weekend. They're just not as dangerous or as potent. They could be on the day and batter us because they've got that in their arsenal. But yeah, I'm not sitting there petrified. I don't think anyone's petrified of City at the moment.
Do you have more confidence with City or Forest?
I've got more confidence that of a win. We've got more chance of beat. We have a result. We've got more chance of a result at home against City than we do away against Nottingham Forest, in my opinion. But that's basing on that. Yeah, and I don't think that's a crazy comment either. I think it's quite sensible.
Forest have been better than us by a fair margin. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and one's at home, one's away. And
2 years ago, that would be a weird statement, but it makes so much sense.
Don't worry about it.
Makes so much sense now.
Couldn't like not even 2 years at the start of this season. If someone in August had said to me, going into April, people would say Nottingham Forest is a harder game than Man City. If someone had said that to you in August, wow.
It's true, though, but also, by the way, DJ, if you're watching, the Chelsea fan, you see how we just took recent form into account when predicting how our confidence levels about a team. Just want to make sure you're watching, DJ, the Chelsea fan. We use recency to predict current games as opposed to City did a treble 2 years ago. Therefore, I'm more scared of them now than Forest. No. By the way, I'm not like massively confident of beating anybody, but there we go. Big up Nobbins, always sensible and fair in his assessment. I want his club relegated, though.
What the hell, Sar?
I was sad we didn't get a verdict over the international break, to be fair. It would have been nice to put that to bed, but
when's that expected to come through?
Anytime,
any moment.
We know
if you believe in the nose, it was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago.
I'll be honest with you though, I've got thumbnails already made by my thumbnail designer for guilty and for innocent. They're ready to go, so we are ready to go. I'm fair. I literally said to my guy, "Can you make one that is like they're guilty, they're fucked, and one that's like they're innocent, like smiling faces? They're so different from each other." And I'm like, which one am I going to upload? I don't know, but it's almost like the one of them's going to be, when a team could win the league on the final day. And there's always those pictures at Merv of the parade stuff, like in a shed somewhere, never got used. That's what's going to happen to one of these thumbnails. One of them is going to disappear into the abyss.
You got to put Nobbins on one of them, Tel.
Why is it so hard to break down low blocks? Well, it depends on how good the defenders are in the low block, how powerful they are, how quick they are. But essentially, there's less room to maneuver.
Space is the problem.
It's a space game.
Yeah,
it's a space.
It's a lot harder
to
knock out a box. It's a lot harder for a boxer to knock out an opponent. That opponent is on top of them, smothering them, giving them no room to land their punch or time things. And this is where, if we attack Forest too much, we leave all that space in behind because we play with a back three for Hudson-Odoi and Elanga to run into. It could be good night Vienna. It really, really could. Moving on from that, hit the like and the share button, please. Make sure you're all subscribing. Why, oh, why, Conley? Our rivals and Arteta routers so triggered that Saka's returning?
You know what? I don't think it's the Saka that's returned. It's that there's something that Arsenal fans are happy about. That's what usually generates a lot of these reactions. Like when us being happy is like, no, everybody congregate. We must stop this. That's what it is, mate. Whenever we're excited and happy about something, I saw someone in the comment section. Imagine Arsenal fans getting excited about their best player coming back. I mean, perish the thought of that, being excited that your best player
your
is
fans
returning
have done
to the
that to
side.
yourself over the years. Like your fans release music videos for Declan Rice signing and Thomas Partey signing, etc. Like your fans have done. Not saying you. Your
What's
fans
wrong with
have done
releasing a song,
Pardon?
celebrating a transfer? What's wrong with that? It's not like they made the song "Party Hard." It was already a song.
Not like they signed Lamine Yamal. They signed Thomas Partey and Declan Rice.
See, well, okay, so what's that got to do with us being excited
I'm
about
just
our
saying,
best
no, I'm just saying
player
the point
coming
is your
back?
fans have done that to yourself. Where it's like anyone's going to assume that Arsenal fans being happy is cringe. And listen, with the Saka, listen, I'll let you finish have your say on Saka anyway before I go. But
Yeah, I don't think we react any different to any other fans, but I just think it's more fun when everyone's going at Arsenal, and I'm okay with it. I'm not even complaining anymore. It's more fun in the media when everyone's against Arsenal. Arsenal doing well doesn't sit well with the rest of the Premier League, and that's fine. But we've just got to win the league at once overall and shut everyone up. But that's not happening anytime soon, or in the next 12 months anyway. But Saka being back is massive. It's massive. Like regardless of what is, I think people are mistaking us.
Well, can I? Sorry, I wanted to ask because it might feed into what you're saying, right? I've seen a lot of people, predominantly individuals that don't like Arteta, if they're Arsenal fans, and a lot of rivals state Saka is back too early. You're risking his career. It's crazy that he's back and fully fit already. Something's off with this. How do you read it as an Arsenal fan? Do you think there's truth to that? Do you think that the Arteta is disregarding the welfare of the player and rushing him back, or is the assessment of it taking 3 to 4 months fair because it's been 3 to 4 months?
I just want to know, like, I don't know if there's any doctors that could all answer confidently about this particular injury. So I think when it comes to injuries, you play it by the person that's being injured. I would like to assume that Saka's gone through all the rigorous checks to confirm whether he's fit or not. I think it's a lot more fun for rival fans to claim that we're rushing him back because it means they can start a whole campaign of we're rushing him back, we're ruining his career. So it creates a whole it creates like 6 weeks of content, Terry, if they throw that in there. So if they don't throw that in there,
don't they?
Then
they really trigger you, don't they, rival fans?
Not at all, bro. I'm just saying exactly what's going on, bro. Like it's the fact is, like you use Arsenal for every example when you're talking about Chelsea. We live rent free in multiple people's heads.
No, I just the only time I've been on the show is when we were about to play you guys, and because the Yokeres news has spoken out. That's why I've mentioned you. I've only been on the show like 3 times. And that's why I've mentioned Arsenal.
But I'm saying every time you have a point to make, you use Arsenal as your reference.
He's taking notes.
That's not true.
And that's the 3 times we've been on streams together. So I can only go by what you've shown me, right?
I'll repeat, we were talking about the Chelsea Arsenal game. That's why I'm not going to mention Arsenal.
Today, we'll be talking about Chelsea and Arsenal.
Okay, yeah, but today the broke out. I was bigging you guys up, saying that your transfer, you're about to sign a striker. That could be the final piece to you guys getting the league and maybe getting a new manager as well.
Dudes, whether you're bigging us up or criticizing, we're in your head. That was all I was trying to relate to. We're in your head, rent free. You're bigging us up or criticizing us. But to be fair, Saka coming back is massive. Does that mean we're now going to beat Madrid? Of course not. But does that increase the chances of having a shot at it? Of course it does. Like, we can only hope to have our best players available for the big games. You never know. Moments happen in football, and hopefully Bukayo Saka can create those amazing moments in two games against Real Madrid. If he's not fully fit, I don't think he should play any minutes. But if he is, like, what's the issue? He's fit. Throw him in the game. Why are we just assuming he's going to get injured straight away?
I don't think fitness is going to be the concern with Saka. He's had the 3 months out, which is what he was supposed to have. I think the thing that's going to be curious to see is how sharp he is coming back after so long out, and how long it takes him to get back up to that level. Because if you bring him back,
you're right, but no one's talking about that. They're talking about rushing him back for fitness and if he's going to get injured straight away.
I think people confuse it. I don't think Arsenal have rushed him back, because rushing him back would have been bringing him back at the start of March, because the title was sort of fading. He's not 100%, but if we just get him back now, we could do something in games. I think you've wasted the correct amount of time. The problem is he's not going to be the same Saka that there was at the start of the season because he effectively needs to do a pre-season again to get himself back up to speed. But you can't give him one. So he's just going to have to try and make up that gap himself. I think you'll
so is he not going to be available for Arsenal's next 2 games?
No, he's available
to start tomorrow, bro. He's available to start tomorrow.
He's starting tomorrow.
He's been doing.
He's not starting, but Arteta said he's available to start.
The thing with Saka is since almost early January. Again, we're only seeing photos and very small amounts of video. He's been training weights. He's been on grass for about 4 or 5 weeks. He's been sprinting for weeks. This is why I don't understand. Like, I understand if a doctor has just quit Arsenal and said, I've left my job. Why? Because they're rushing Saka back and it could end his career. I can understand if some doctors and some physios, professionals are saying there is no way in God's green earth that after 3.5 to 4 months out, 3 months of rehabilitation, that he should be anywhere near grass. Then I think I would look at it and go, yeah, they're rushing him back. But it doesn't appear to be any facts from any doctors or any empirical evidence that he's being rushed back. I think what this is let's plant some seeds. Let's throw a lot of shit and see if some of it sticks. Because should he twinge a muscle, should he pull his quad, should he get a little groin knock, should even if someone clatters him and twists his ankle, it will be, I told you he shouldn't be back. I just feel we're in this era now where it's right. I'm going to predict something bad might happen in case it happens, so I can say I'm a genius. It's got like an easy prophecy prediction. It's like I'm going to say loads of things and hope they happen. It just feels strange. I don't understand how he's being rushed. Like, medically speaking, I don't get the claim. That's all I'm saying. Now he could pull his other hamstring. He could do his knee. Touching wood, he doesn't. I want him fit for England in the summer. He could roll his ankle. He could pull his calf muscle. He could clash heads and be out for 2 weeks with concussion. But I don't see how any of that is actually the claim is you're rushing him back. Those injuries could happen if he's given another month off, 6 months off. He could always come back and just get injured. And in fact, the longer he goes without playing professional football, the more chance there is that his muscles don't have a great reaction when he starts playing professional sports again. Because most fighters, most runners, most athletes will tell you the longer you are away from competitive sports, the harder it is to get back into it. So it's just strange. This is where I talk about the weird agendas that I see against Arsenal, where it's not something there's no evidence to it. It's just a load of people saying a lot of stuff that's weird.
It's just the Arteta out. I think from the Arsenal perspective, the Arteta out mob are very much on the side with not bringing Saka back, because having your best player obviously helps Arsenal and Arteta. And if for whatever reason Arsenal somehow, some way got past Real Madrid, you know for a fact Saka is going to be a massive part of that. And the fact that he's back in the squad now, the Arteta out as mob, I wouldn't say concerned, but they're clearly not happy about it because they've voiced their opinion all over the socials.
Yeah, well, it's like the winter break thing. Look, in the end, Arsenal end up losing 2 players out there. But when you listen to any professional sports person, any kind of physio doctor, they will all tell you that warm weather training is typically speaking better for your muscles than training and performing in the cold. It just so happens that when Arsenal went out there this time, like Kai Havertz snapped his hamstring. The idea that no one should ever do warm weather training again because of that incident, for me, that's what I don't like about that analysis. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
outcome bias.
Yeah, outcome bias happens a lot. Oh, I've moved to a much safer part. Where I live now is definitely safer than East London, even though I love East London. But if someone gets run over on my street tomorrow morning and killed, that doesn't debunk the fact that typically speaking, it's safer now where I live on the streets than it was in East London. But people do this thing where they'll look at an anomaly or an incident and go, see, I told you I was right, but you're not still. Something bad has just happened and you're pushing an agenda. I'm only asking.
But I do think that the criticism is a little bit fair. I don't agree that he's been rushed back because you don't truly know until he plays. But I can understand where some people are coming from, just in terms of like when you hear about like how Arteta kind of like overplayed Saka, and like he's playing him like 90 minutes in games where he doesn't need to be out there for so long, etc. So I can kind of see why people would be concerned, but yeah, I don't
do you
think
reckon
that
anyone's
he
concerned? Will?
mismanaged his
Wait, who's
fitness.
who? Which rival fan is concerned about Saka?
rival
Tell
fans.
me,
I
tell
thought we
me.
were talking
I
about
am, by the way.
Arteta outers.
I don't want him to get injured. I like
Well, for
him.
the sake
No,
of
I
England,
need him
some
for
might
England.
be concerned, but
No, wait.
I'm
I
not
didn't
saying
think we were
I am.
talking about rivals. I thought that we were talking about the Arsenal fans that are criticizing him coming back, but they seem too fast. I didn't think I wasn't referring to like rivals necessarily.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But I could kind of understand it, but I don't see the issue. Like, I'm pretty sure that the doctors tested him, and if they say that he's fit, it's a very big few weeks for Arsenal, because it's realistically the only chance of a trophy that they can win. So if he's available to be out there, then I mean, why would you not want Saka available?
Yeah, the NHS website says a grade 3 hamstring tear, a complete tear of the muscle, typically requires 3 to 6 months or more to fully recover. The problem is that I think people have gone on the websites. The problem is you're talking about general normal people. One, the reason why a lot of athletes are athletes is because their bodies are a little bit superhuman. A cold light of day, their bodies don't operate like the rest of us. That's why they're athletes, and most of us are not. Secondly, I love the NHS. I say this with the complete and utter respect. Saka's definitely had better care than what the average person that would go into the NHS and have this treatment gets. Or, I'll go and physio. He ain't going physio once a week with some backstreet physio charging $12.50 an hour. Like, it's constant. So I think people need to be really mindful here that for instance, like Rodri's back kicking the ball. No one's saying Pep's a fucking arsehole, risking his life, risking his career. No one said that. They went, wow, isn't modern medicine brilliant? He's back already. It's just but I do think, Henry, you pull on something really interesting. I think there are some people, again, there's multiple things. I think there are some people that are doing this, the throw shit and hope something sticks. I also feel there are some who are like, fuck's sake, with Saka returning, it does just give the potential for Arsenal to do better against Real Madrid. And for a lot of people that don't like Arsenal or don't like Arteta, it's bad news. So I just think it's the sort of projection, like Tom when he cried about Trent. It's like I've got to project my anger because I'm butthurt. Do you know what I mean? It's just funny to watch.
100%. And just so you know, guys, obviously,
Damn.
That's a mental place to cut out. Just so you know.
Just so you know, some really important information that we don't get it.
That's like from a film.
Yeah, just so you know, and it goes quiet, and then suddenly a meteor hits.
That's like the best cliffhanger. That's like the best cliffhanger on the film ever.
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with
crucial
what
information was you going to give us about Bukayo Saka's return?
No, we'll never know. We'll never know.
He was literally about to explain exactly how Arsenal were going to utilize him in these upcoming weeks. Like, he had the blueprint and everything, and then Arsenal, they found out and cut his Wi-Fi. That's what it was.
Exactly. To be fair, the mismanagement point, there's a lot to it. I do think Arteta mismanaged Saka, especially in the last couple of years. But I think it's going to sound weird. The injury was probably the best thing that could have happened for Arsenal, because it's forced them to use Waneri and trust Waneri. And in turn, Waneri's now proven to everyone that he can play that position. And
I feel like that's kind of a wild to say, though.
Yeah, I think before that, Arteta didn't trust anyone else on the right, but now, after being forced into trusting someone, and they went, look, I can do it. Hopefully now for Arsenal, that in the next year or 2 or 3 or however long they're together, Waneri and Saka will have more suitable rotation on that right, rather than Bukayo Saka getting wheeled out in the Carabao Cup third round against Bolton Wanderers, because Arteta doesn't trust any other right winger in the club.
Dropping or putting Odegaard deeper and playing Waneri in the 10 when Saka's fit in some games. Obviously, Madrid, different kettle of fish. You want to play your best available 11.
I feel like they should play Waneri against us, to be honest.
I mean,
they should play both of them if they could.
I don't think Odegaard makes Arsenal's best 11 on form at the minute. If everyone's back,
he does either.
Yeah, but he's the captain, so he's always going to start.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why he'll start.
But you got to take some risks, though. Sometimes you got to, you got to take some risks.
Hey, Will, you've seen my manager, yeah? You don't really do that.
Arteta took risks 1 year, and then he lost the title, and now won't take them ever again.
That Pep thing has messed him up, man.
No, what's happening with the potential suspensions for the Real Madrid players? I haven't seen any updates on that.
I don't know.
Didn't Angelotti say
that was disgraceful what Mbappe done. I mean, I can't believe people are allowed to play football.
Bro, come knock. Come on,
He
man.
basically flashed his junk at people. It's
No,
terrible.
he didn't.
We saw the tapes, Will.
It just itched a little bit.
There are children watching that.
in
What a disgrace.
Borderline indecent exposure. Borderline
Come on.
indecent exposure, bro. Borderline.
Nah, man.
That's a crime, no? Indecent exposure.
Man, nah, like he's
Hey,
Nobbins, is that a crime? Indecent exposure.
Well, lock him up, I reckon.
It's just being taken out of context.
Right away the key,
It just scratch. You just had to scratch it a little bit.
Nobbins would know all about his player doing that as well. Kyle Walker was doing it for years.
Yeah, chill.
And Will, did you see that threat? That threat by Rudiger. Man went like this,
man. So then I'm waiting on So then when Rasmus Højlund scores once every 5 months and he does it,
but Rasmus Højlund. Hang on, but Rasmus Højlund's not a threat, is he? There's a difference there. But no, I think they should all get like 2-game bans instant, definitely.
Nah, look,
only
I think
for Europe as well.
Only Europe.
Yeah, just Europe.
Like a little slap on the wrist. UEFA doesn't want to hurt their product. Come on, man. If you suspend those players,
they need a new product. They need a new product, bro.
Haven't you got Copa del Rey this week?
The Super League is the new product. That's what we'll get in a few years.
And that's why they massively hate Real Madrid, because Real Madrid are the main driving force behind it.
You don't need this. You'll be okay. You don't need this,
bro. Like
we need this, brother.
You got the Mets, bro. You got the Mets. You're good.
Kool-Aid.
The thing is, though, it's funny though, because Arsenal doing all this. Arsenal want to sell their souls to get past Real Madrid, just to end up having to play PSG after that. And if they get past PSG, it's Barca. Like,
I do think that. Just I was talking to my brother about this yesterday. It was his birthday. We were all me and my brother were out having a few drinks, and one of my brothers said, "Do you think Arsenal will get through?" One of my younger brothers is an Arsenal fan. He said, "Well, if we do, then we've kind of achieved more than everybody expected in the Champions League. So everything after that is a bonus." And I thought that's a fair point, to be fair, because most people didn't think they would make top 8. Let alone get to this stage. But look, Real Madrid outright favourites for that game still. I think even with a few suspensions.
Feel like that, though.
Do you know that technically we're not the favourites? If you go
Will, kick him off. Hey, Terry,
no, hold on. You didn't let me finish, bro. You didn't let me finish.
Because you started with rubbish.
No, hold on. You let me finish. I think we are the favorites.
What else can you say to save you from that introduction?
No,
please?
Stop speaking French.
I'm saying
Henry get confused.
According to all the sports books, if you would win more money if you bet on Real Madrid, because Arsenal are the negative. They're the favorite.
Hang on.
Will.
No, the negative means you're the underdog, mate.
No, plus means that you're the underdog because it's
an American way of betting.
Oh, hang on. Let's look at this here. I'm gonna go. So Arsenal
is it
versus...
different in the UK?
No, I don't. I normally do the. Hang on. Let's just type this in. Real Madrid versus Arsenal game.
US odds is where if it's positive, that means that you're less.
Will, why have you done this, bro?
I'm
going with our odds. I mean, again, but I'm not trusting the. I'm not. No disrespect. I'm not trusting American bookmakers that call it soccer. I'm going to go. Oh my God! The English bookmakers have got Arsenal as the favourites.
Oh, do they? Do they?
Oh God!
That's
almost
yeah, but obviously they're trolling us on a high level, high key trolling. That's what it is. High key trolling.
That is a
madness. Nobody in the media thinks we can win this game, but yeah, we're the favourites.
You know what it is though? This football talk, right? Like no trolling or nothing. Football wise, we have been shit this season. Like this has been one of the worst seasons.
My God, they actually have Arsenal as favorites.
Hold on, wait. Kool-Aid, understand what I'm saying. I still expect us to go through, but we have been awful this entire season. We have been
hang on, though. Hang on. I think
there's a catch. There's a catch.
There is a catch. That is purely for the game at the Emirates, not the tie. So it's the game.
What's the odds for the tie?
Let me just try and find that tie odds. So to qualify,
Real Madrid at 8-13.
Yeah, Real Madrid are the favourites for the tie. But yeah, Arsenal are the favourites to win at home. So not the tie, though, overall.
I'll take it.
You guys haven't conceded.
I'm telling you right now, we're not going to batter Arsenal.
You say we're undefeated against you, man.
Any rival fans that think that, like across these 2 legs is going to be like a 7-0, 6-1 aggregate. It's going to be like a 4-2, 3-1 kind of aggregate. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be ugly.
To who?
For us. And then
just checking.
Yeah, like it's the power of friendship and individual brilliance that will get us through these 2
We might be your bogey side, though. You never know. Will, we might be your bogey side. You never know.
No.
Can I ask, like, I'm going to ask the panel question, the non-Arsenal fans. If Arsenal were to get through over these 2 legs, how many days would you take off social media?
I'd say
credit. Up
I'm
until the
credit where
PSG
credit's
game.
due. I'd say well done to
Either
Arsenal.
up until the PSG game or up until where we win the league.
I mean, Henry and me and Henry would be straight on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be posting a video and then I'm no longer on social media.
I'd probably be flying by then. I'd probably be flying by then as well if Arsenal beat Madrid. I'd probably be flying.
Good one. The reality is, like, everyone's still going to be on social media because the narrative would change. Oh, but it's not like they're going to win it. Celebrating beating Madrid when you're not even going to win it.
Still got to play PSG next.
Yeah, no, it would. But that's the elements that I look forward to. I look forward to the you're getting battered, you've got no chance. To if you were to do it, I then enjoy the rewriting of like that Tom did the other day with Trent. You know, best right back ever, generational. To shit, he can't defend. Conor Bradley's better. I love seeing the flip. The flip is amazing.
Well, to be fair, no one gave us a chance when we won it. We had Timo Werner, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz as our front three, and we still somehow found a way.
Yeah, but you know what?
You
know what? What I will say about that season? Everyone mentions Timo Werner in that season. Timo Werner got like over 30 goals and assists, or close to 30 goals and assists.
What's he doing now?
Yeah, assists.
That was a decent year for Timo Werner.
But the issue is, right, I agree.
Yeah, Timo Werner now is just hemorrhaging money for Tottenham.
Look,
but back then he had a decent year.
How can Timo Werner come into the Tottenham change room saying, "Oh, these bunch of freaking losers"? Timo Werner, you know.
We signed him to be our out and out goal scorer.
And so Mbappe was trying to show off his what? I don't get it.
I think he's suggesting that he's got a small penis.
It itched. That's all, bro. Like he just scratched it. Like that's it. There's nothing else to really talk about.
Oh, doing that old one. It's not true, by the way. I'm just saying. Anyway, maybe it's personal experience.
How many
Saka,
have you seen?
I'm just saying for me. Well, I don't know. I'm just. It's all right. You know what I mean? Never had no complaints. It works. Got 3 kids. Happy days. Saka has. Listen, gents. Never be insecure about those things. Well, no, some people definitely need to be. I've heard stories, bad stories, but most people, Henry, you'll be all right, mate. It's all right. Saka has 2 Premier League games and 1 under-18 game to prove his fitness. 3 games is enough to assess whether he is ready. If he's not, he won't start. That's also very, very true.
When's his under-18 game?
I don't know. You don't need to be condescending. I'm not an idiot. I wasn't being condescending. It's called a joke. But I was pointing out in real time when I use form because you literally said I don't do it for anybody else.
I would double down on the condescension if I was you, Terry.
Yeah. So
double down, man.
Yeah, like I would have been condescending with the super chat.
Yeah. I just called you out for your lack of consistency. I mean, but I'm not inconsistent with it. So I'm sorry if I come across as condescending, but you are complete. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. But you are so wrong. It is unfreaking believable. And the irony was we naturally spoke about form without even thinking about it because that is what you do when you preview games. Everybody does it. Everyone on the terrace anyway. Kunle, it's the Arsenal fans being negative about Saka, the so-called righteous fans. They are the same fans that enjoy being miserable.
Yeah, I hear it. There's this particular fan, I'm not going to mention his name, but yeah, like they're just waiting for something bad to happen. At the end of the day, I support Arsenal more than any opinion that I have. I support Arsenal and I want my team to do good.
Do you know what I find interesting? I don't think there's ever like a smoking gun, any one thing. And you, Dubs, you know this in the Chelsea fan base, there are some that are consistently called negative, some are consistently called positive, and everyone has different reasons. But there is definitely a group in the kind of negative bracket who side with the people that are more balanced but negative at times. But some people only really get traction when they're being. I think there is a percentage of people that only get traction when they're being negative, so they look for the negativity in everything.
Oh yeah,
100%. and that's by and large. And I think every fan base has that as an example. It's but yeah, we're not allowed to be rivals can't help themselves. We're not allowed to be happy, is what D says.
I don't think rival fans actually care, if I'm honest. I don't actually think rival fans care if Saka's back or not.
Surprise, you're the first one to respond. Surprise.
I'm just saying.
The rivals care that Arsenal are launching a dating show like Blind Date.
That's
weird,
brilliant.
but
That is absolutely brilliant.
We do it to ourselves. I can't even justify that. We do it to ourselves.
I'm not even joking.
Do you understand what I'm saying now?
That is
mad. The thing is, though, I don't even listen. I wouldn't. If Man United were doing it, and you know, I was in that position to go on it, I wouldn't do it. It's not my thing to do. I wouldn't do a blind date that weren't being recorded on camera. At the same time, though, we live in a world where clubs have got to find ways to make money. If Arsenal make this show work, because things like, what's it called, like Love at First Sight and all of that, do you know how many people tune into that sort of reality stuff? It's money. So I will say this to Arsenal: if they make this show actually compelling and lots of Arsenal fans tune in to watch it, it could be a good money maker. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't participate. I don't watch reality TV. At the same time, you know, I don't. How I would, if football clubs operated how I like to consume football, I think most clubs would lose about 150, 200 million pound a year in revenue. You know,
but then isn't that like
the reality is
saying, well, look at how much money our stadium makes, like, and how, you know, we do like the concerts and we do like the racetrack and like horse riding, or I don't know, like whatever you guys do in the UK.
But
like,
I think that Spurs get stick for it. I think Spurs get stick for it because the belief is that Spurs feel like they've reached the pinnacle. Spurs' owners feel they've reached the pinnacle because that's all they care about. Where Arsenal's owners are pushing the narrative that they're going to try and win the league. And I think bringing Berta in, they go and bring in Yulkades and Williams and Zubimendi. I don't think you make those signings just to maintain Champions League positions personally. But yeah, I wouldn't personally want my club to do it, by the way. But I do understand it could make big money.
Imagine it's one of them ones, Terry, where that if we're winning trophies, it's not really that big of a show.
Yeah, no, I agree. If Pep brought a dog in and called it Win a Lot, no one would go mad about it. If Klopp, and this is the thing sometimes, I do believe in this world, politics right through to football. Sometimes in life, it's who does things versus what's being done. I used to work in a big bank, and there was two blokes on this floor within the space of 24 hours that flirted with a young lady that worked there. One of the guys, you've seen that meme from South Park of that guy, fat guy with a beard and his computer looking all dirty. One guy looked like that. The other guy, I won't mention his name, I think he's married now. Like, he gave Brad Pitt a run for his money. Guess which one she complained about? You know what I'm saying? But they both said exactly the same thing to her, that your dress looks really nice. It was no more than that, right? She's entitled to complain. I'm not saying she isn't. But it was just, again, sometimes in life, it's who does things as opposed to what they do. I'm just pointing that out. In fact, he said something that was far more derogatory than the ugly guy, but she enjoyed it. She liked him saying it. But that is her preference, and she's allowed a preference. I'm just putting that out there for anyone on the cancel rampage. Listen, people, flirting versus harassment. Yeah, but again, either, like I said, sometimes it's not what you say, it's who says it. Sometimes. Specified sometimes, and Nobbins is a lawyer, so he can confirm that I specified sometimes. Do me a favor, people, hit the like and the share button. This video is going to redirect you to Sam's channel. I'm live at 8 p.m. on the United Stand, talking all things Manchester United. So if you're a United fan, come and join me. We're going to have a little bit of a chit chat preview, talking Mainu, Garnacho, and a few other things as well. I want to thank my panel tonight. You've all been absolutely amazing. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And remember, always ask permission.